Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from the beautiful garden city of Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a good weekend so far, if your weekend has started. And if not yet, then I hope you're looking forward to a great weekend, staying healthy, staying strong and productive. Welcome, Amor Chamek, Sejuti, Marjona, Agnes. Good to see many students in the class this morning. While we wait for a few more of your peers, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots of resources for you to improve your English and your communication. This class is a writing task 2 class. We're going to talk about what you should do to finish with a band 9, a perfect score, writing the body paragraphs and the conclusion. We started this essay yesterday with the planning and the introduction. We will look at the introduction in a few moments. While we wait for a few more of your peers, this is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join the premium package. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official British Council IELTS registration center and certified agents, so you're in good hands with us. And for the general IELTS, it's the green background. And again, you can click that big red button. Now, task 2 writing is very similar in the academic and the general IELTS. Task 1 is quite different. The reading sections are quite different. That's why we have 2 unique web portals for this. We also have unique applications to support these websites. So you can download the app Academic IELTS Help, link it to your aehelp.com account, or General IELTS Help and link it to your gieltshelp.com account. I see Rajveer, Sidesh, and Nick Hill have joined the class. Welcome, members. You can also become a member of our YouTube channel. And you can follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp. And GIELTS Help, we have daily vocabulary, tips, strategies to improve. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS test preparation. And you can send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, if you have any questions about IELTS. Okay? All right. So again, we have this task to finish. Then tomorrow we have a question and answer session for members. Rajveer, I haven't forgotten your request about the conditionals blog, so that's going to be up later today. We'll take a quick look at that in tomorrow's Q&A class. And we'll also have a speaking part 2 cue card practice in class for everyone tomorrow. So lots of good learning coming up. Let's take a look at today's writing. All right, here we go. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Nowadays, many mothers take care of the family and don't go out to work. Some people believe they should be given salaries by the government. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This was the question. We did a bit of paraphrasing yesterday to make sure that we understand the question. And we came up with, these days, many mothers parent their children rather than doing jobs outside the home. Certain individuals propose that moms should be paid by authorities for child rearing. To what degree do you support or dispute this position? And we identified the topic as salaries for mothers to take care of the family. Okay, so based on that, we came up with a good thesis statement and an introduction. So here is our introduction. Our introduction starts with the hook. to grab our reader's attention. Getting paid for motherhood is a commonly discussed topic nowadays. And then comes the background. A monthly salary for mothers to do household chores, teach life skills, and care for children has been proposed by societies in order to encourage good parenting. I strongly agree that mothers should be paid for taking care of the family to acknowledge their efforts and improve their lives. So this is our thesis. This is arguably the most important sentence of our essay because it tells our reader what we're going to write in the rest of the essay. It tells our reader the structure of our essay, what we're going to write first, what we're going to write second. It also tells the reader our voice. So first person, second, third person voice. What voice are we using? Eugen, I'm doing fantastic today. Even better now that I've seen a series of your emojis. Okay. So, welcome Carolina. Good to have our moderator in the class as well. All right, so here, this thesis tells my reader that it's a first-person subjective voice, okay, because I'm using I. I strongly agree. The question asks, to what extent do you agree? So it has to be my opinion. I either strongly agree or disagree. It's clearly a subjective essay from my position. So I strongly agree that mothers should be paid for taking care of the family. And then I have my two thesis points. So my first point is acknowledge their efforts. That's my point number one. This tells my reader that my body paragraph 1 will discuss this point and explain it and give examples in greater detail. So again, notice the parallel grammar, verb, okay, possessive pronoun, noun, and then here I have the same. So improve their lives. This is my second point, okay? And this is going to be my body paragraph 2, all right? And I have parallel grammar. Now this is what's called a direct thesis, okay? Because it directly tells my reader the structure and the content of my essay. In university, in college, most of your essays will require a direct thesis statement. Professors do not like to read thesis statements like this essay will discuss the benefits of using solar energy instead of petroleum. The professor knows that. They probably wrote the question that you need to answer. So indirect thesis statements are generally not as effective, and I don't recommend them on IELTS either. Okay. Khridita Tabassum, yes. The word count does include articles and prepositions, and Carolina seconded that opinion, so you can be certain that it's so. Yeah, when you're doing the computer-based exam, for instance, the computer counts up your word count, and for is, those are all counted. They're words, okay? So, all right. Sadesh says, I used to do that earlier and ended up with a band 6 laugh out loud. Yeah, it's really bad, students, because the examples that you see online say, oh, you should write an essay like this essay will discuss why mothers should receive salaries. And it's like, of course it will. That's the question. Why would you tell me that again, right? So it doesn't make sense. So instead, tell me something useful, like mothers should be given salaries to acknowledge their efforts and to improve their lives. Okay, now I have a sense of direction, and you have a sense of direction as the writer. Okay? All right? So direct thesis statements are better. most of the time, 95%, 98% of the time, they're going to be better than indirect thesis statements. Okay, so let's start writing our body paragraphs. That's the focus of this lesson. So body 1 is dealing with paying mothers for motherhood, for parenting, to acknowledge their efforts. Okay, so first is your topic sentence. Okay, topic sentence here is a deeper definition of paying moms to acknowledge their efforts. Okay, so here you should be asking yourself, what does that mean? So what does it mean to acknowledge the effort of a mom? What is the effort of a mom? How can we define effort more? Immediately what comes to mind for me when I think of effort in a deeper sense is time and energy. Okay, so right away that comes to mind for me. The time and energy. Okay. What do I mean to acknowledge their effort? It means to give monetary compensation, right? So acknowledge here for me would mean to compensate with money. Okay, that's the acknowledgement part of that, all right? So one way that you can look at deeper definitions is by looking at your thesis point and digging deeper, thinking deeper of, well, what does it mean to acknowledge? So giving compensation with money, just like any other job where somebody does some kind of work for the betterment of humanity and they're acknowledged for that, right? So in schools, teachers get paid to teach children. Why would you not pay the mother to teach the children as well? In essence, she's doing the same. And just because you say, well, it's because it's her children, doesn't make it any different, right? All right. So An is already ahead of the curve. An writes, the enormous energy and time that mothers around the world dedicate to their families should be appreciated by additional income, which is subsidized by authorities. An, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Beautifully done. Okay. Rajveer says, mothers do many back-breaking jobs at home as well as teach ethics to their children, and hence they must be recognized by national authorities with a monthly monetary allowance. Rajveer, very good. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Sidesh says, any services provided by an employee should be compensated equally, and motherhood should be no exception. Sidesh, beautiful, right? We visualized it. Hey, employees put in time and effort, provide services to others. So do mothers by raising their children. Why should that be any different? It shouldn't be. And Sidesh, you've emphasized that beautifully. You've brought that parallel to your reader. Well done. Okay. Deepika says, by nature, mothers play a vital role in birth, growth, and development of the child. They contribute a big part to society by doing this, and for their time and energy, they need monetary compensation. They deserve monetary compensation. Deepika, exactly, right? So, mothers invest an incredible amount of time and energy to raise their children for the betterment of society, and for this work they deserve monetary compensation just like any other service job. Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree with all of you. And hence, here is my topic sentence. Mothers invest an incredible amount of time and energy to raise their children for the betterment of society. And for this work, they deserve monetary compensation, just like any other service job, right? If you go to the hospital, doctors get paid. If you go to a school, teachers get paid. So when mothers take care of their sick child or when mothers educate their children, they should get paid. It's a fair argument. Okay? All right. So I can see there's lots of other great topic sentences coming up. June Owitz, very good. Amit writes, mothers give 8 to 10 hours daily for not only making food for their family, but cleaning the house, washing clothes, which should be awarded with money. Okay. All right. So I think that, Amit, you're a little bit more in the explanation. So that's the supporting point where you're quantifying all of this information. And that's what we're going to do now, okay? So after you have your topic sentence comes your explanation. So your explanation is the quantification of information, of ideas, okay? So that's exactly what you've started doing, Amit. So when we write something like invest an incredible amount of time and energy, then we want to explain that. So what do you mean lots of time and energy? 12, 14, 16-hour days, even longer if those kiddies get the flu or get sick. So this is where we quantify, right? To raise their children. How much money they should receive, at least a base salary that's equal to a full-time minimum wage job. You could say that, or you could say at least twice the salary of minimum wage, because mothers definitely deserve a decent pay for their effort. They arguably work much more than a simple full-time employee. So that's your quantification, okay? That's where you quantify, all right? And you give more details, like what is that time and energy invested into, such as cooking, vacuuming, doing the dishes, washing clothes, and many other ideas, taking children to school, taking them to sporting events, music events, and so forth, right? So this is where we get into our explanation. We want to be very visual, and we want to be quantitative as well. Anne Mary, if it's your first class, you're finding it a bit tough, no problem. Remember, these videos are recorded. So for those students who find these classes a bit challenging, just hang in there. You can watch the class again later. You can watch yesterday's class with the introduction as well. Okay? All right. Deepika, just society here. Doesn't need to be a unique society, so no the is required. Okay. All right. Bakrat says, in my point of view, mothers who stay at home and care for a child do not need any money because in this case, fathers earn money. If some deserve extra money, it's single parents. All right, Bakrat, that's a different argument for a different essay. You can try it, certainly. But again, make sure that you follow along with this idea for now, just so you can develop the right structure and approach to writing these essays, okay? All right. Mumuna Hanna writes, the service holder mothers are stronger and they do not do only the job but also invest their love, energy, and care for the family. Okay, Miuma, it's a good idea, but it's off topic. Do not bring emotional charge into the essay, otherwise you can go off topic. Okay. Rajveer writes, mothers spend at least 10 hours each day in preparing meals, doing dishes, washing clothes, and caring for their offspring to ensure better health and productivity of the family members. Okay. Good. So that's how I would start as well, Rajveer. And I would add a little bit to explaining the monetary compensation as well. So moms spend at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. That's something that's, again, important to emphasize because, hey, for most of us that have a regular job, we work Monday to Friday. Some of us who are extreme, like in my case, I'll work 6-7 days a week sometimes, but most of us work 5, maybe 6 days a week. Moms, it's 24/7, right? So moms spend at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week preparing meals, washing clothes, and dishes, taking children to school. Let's go with and. Don't write etc. and so on. Those are useless in an essay. Your reader gets the idea, so you don't need to write etc. or and so on. All right. To ensure good health and productivity for the family, and for this they deserve at least twice the minimum monthly salary from taxpayer income. Okay, so that's how I would write it. So Rajveer, I've taken kind of the first part of what you've written because I think you're on the right track, and I've just completed the idea with what I mean by their salary as well. So I'm going to take that extra step and suggest of what I think is fair pay at minimum for a mom. And we could set that fair pay to whatever we want. In my mind, I think that's at least twice the minimum salary within a society. So let's say the minimum salary in the society is $1,000 per month. Mothers should get $2,000. Okay. All right. So let's see some other explanations that some of you have come up with. And there are lots. It's nice to see. United Kerala says mothers dedicate their entire lives to balancing family life and raising the next generation. And for this, mothers should get monthly payments from government authorities. Okay, United Kerala, I think that's more your topic sentence than your explanation. Priyanshu Sontakle says, as mothers look after their children who are the future of the nation, that should be in commas on both sides, and these children in turn serve the nation when they grow up, so they need to be paid for this very important job. Not just fantastic job, but extremely important job, right? Ois writes, the government must pay monthly for mothers who are working 24 hours a day and create different initiatives for mothers honoring them for their great attitude and role in society. Okay, Ois, that's very good. You're reflecting on the fact that we're acknowledging motherhood as a type of service or work. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Zen Frederick says, mothers work 24/7 from waking up in the morning and starting their day by cooking, doing dishes, washing clothes, and caring for their offspring. They also remain awake to take care of children when they are not healthy. Zen, good. You're getting a little bit too far down the rabbit hole. Okay, this is IELTS. You've got about 300, maybe 350 words of writing for a Band 8, Band 9. I think the level of detail that you're giving Zen, and I know I mentioned this detail, but that level of detail is more for a 500-600 word essay that's maybe for college. It's not for IELTS, so careful not to digress too far. Okay. All right. Abhishek writes, mummies work around the clock at home for serving their children for indoor and outdoor activities such as cooking, cleaning, buying groceries, which consumes a lot of time and effort. Abhishek, get into numbers, which consumes a minimum of 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, okay? All right. June writes, it usually takes mothers 6 to 8 hours each day to finish household chores such as cooking, cleaning, shopping, and daycare for children. Okay, and finish the idea, June, just like I did for Rajvir's comment there as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so good. Now we want the example. All right, and for the example, you always want something that is real world, which can be clearly seen by your reader. Easily imagined is what I'm talking about here, okay? And creates a sense of sympathy. You might not be able to create empathy, but sympathy. Sympathy where your reader's basically like, oh yeah, I get it. It was kind of the same for me, or I've seen similar types of scenarios. Now, of course, with this question of time and effort and acknowledging mom's efforts, what would be a good example to use here? So what do you think, ladies and gents? What would be a good example to use here? Shranjit, empathy would be better, but we don't know our readers always, so it's not always possible to create empathy in our readers. Maybe some people grew up without moms, right? So we can't always create empathy, but definitely sympathy is possible, okay? Empathy is great when you can, but we don't know if we can or we can't, okay? In some situations, Shranjit, we can create empathy, like, for example, with being injured, cutting our finger. Everybody in the world cuts their finger at least once in their life, so we can create empathy, but not always. Okay. All right, so what should we think about here for our example? Oh, it says the Syrian government supports mothers by giving a monthly salary of about $200. Furthermore, the government allocates March 23rd as Mother's Day and as an official holiday across the country in appreciation of their great effort. Okay, is careful with Mother's Day or Father's Day, even though it seems like a good point to mention. It's kind of off topic. We're not actually talking about designating a special day to celebrate mothers or fathers. We're talking about giving money by the government. So keep the original question in mind. It's a nice thought, Ois, but it's off topic. Be careful, okay? Rajvir says in India, mothers are paid 20,000 rupees each month as compensation to look after their families when they are on maternity leave. And the same should be implemented with non-working mothers as well. Very nice, Rajvir. Yeah, so using maternity leave, that would be a good example. All right. Let's see. Liul Tameshkin says, mothers doing house chores like dishes, washing clothes, caring for their children need to be supported. Okay, that's more your explanation than your example, Laul. Rashika says we can use Japan, for example. Perhaps what I would do is what Jaineel is doing, is think about my own mother, right? It's first person essay. I've introduced the first person voice in the introduction using I. And Nikhil and Jaineel are saying, why not refer to our own moms if we can, okay? So Nikhil writes, my mom, for example, spends at least 10 hours each day, not only doing daily errands, but also raising my brothers and me. So paying $200 each month to show appreciation for her is imperative. Very good, Nikhil. Yeah, absolutely. Use your own mom. Janiel, my mother has 2 children and invested daily 8 to 10 hours to make our lives enjoyable and simple in early childhood. So she was receiving a 10,000 monthly allowance from her corporate job to assist our upbringing. Yeah, very good, Janiel. Exactly. Using the example of your own mother, right? So, So here's my example, same kind of idea. So the Canadian government paid $1,000 each month to my mother in recognition of her efforts to raise my siblings and I. And this is imperative for and this is, let's keep it simpler, and this is absolutely fair, according to my opinion. Okay, so kind of reflecting back on my opinion. Now, this paragraph seems a bit long, but it's actually not long if you take out my explanation and example definitions. And now I will do a connective sentence here, very simple connection. Okay, connection conclusion. You can use this for a lot of these types of essays where the question is, to what degree or to what extent do you agree or disagree? So, this is one of 2 reasons that governments should pay for motherhood. Okay, so let's read this paragraph now. You'll notice it's not actually that long. It's roughly about 80 words or so, which is absolutely fine for a body paragraph. Mothers invest an incredible. So now I'm making these important corrections to spelling, grammar, typos. Okay. So mothers invest an incredible amount of time and energy to raise their children for the betterment of society. And for this work, they deserve monetary compensation just like any other service job. Moms spend at least 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, preparing meals, washing clothes and dishes, and taking children to school to ensure good health and productivity for the family. And for this, they deserve at least twice the minimum monthly salary from taxpayer income. Okay? The Canadian government paid $1,000 each month to my mother in recognition of her efforts to raise my siblings and I, and this is absolutely fair according to my opinion. This is one of 2 reasons that governments should pay for motherhood. All right, that reads quite well and stays on topic and defines that first thesis point. Okay, hopefully everybody sees that. All right. Okay. June writes, looks like you're trying to write each part, thesis, explanation, example, connection with one sentence to make it concise and highly related. June, that's exactly what I'm doing. So topic, sentence, explanation, example, connection, one sentence each, highly related. As long as you do that, and of course you will have some complex and compound sentences there, you will end up with some really, really nice paragraphs. And that's kind of the basic approach to good writing. So good observation, June, and that's absolutely right. Okay. Rashika writes, my mother has 3 children, including myself. She has been spending her time and energy to raise us, doing household chores. It is important to pay her $200 per month to appreciate her efforts. Exactly, Rashika. All right. Carlos says, I must keep studying. This is so tough. I'm glad this video is being recorded. Carlos, absolutely come back, review it again and again, and you will get the hang of it, okay? Everybody does, all right? Your brain is a learning machine. You must never forget that. All right. So now we go on to body paragraph 2. And body 2 is the same structure, of course, topic sentence plus explanation plus example. You don't really need a connection, okay, or conclusion, because your connection conclusion, that's your concluding paragraph. So it's not necessary here to really have a connecting or concluding sentence. So let me just quickly review my thesis point 2. So improve their lives, okay? So to have better life quality. Let's give a definition for that. So what does it mean to have better life quality? What does it mean that governments should pay mothers to improve their overall life quality? Okay. All right, so let's get into that one. Write a topic sentence, define improving life quality, and go through the exact same steps. Then explain it with quantitative, visible concepts. Then give an example, maybe using the first example from the first body paragraph to create more coherence. Okay, let's see what you come up with. Okay. Rajveer writes, financial assistance given by authorities to mothers can elevate their living standards so that they can thrive. Absolutely, Rajveer, and not only for themselves, but for their children as well, raising the overall quality of life in society, right? So remember the trickle-down effect, right? So by giving mothers money, it's probably one of the smartest things that society can do, because mothers are most likely the last people to waste that money. So I know from my experience that moms are very frugal and very wise when it comes to spending money on healthy foods, on educational materials that their children need. So mothers tend to make very wise investments into society. So it is a smart idea. Okay. Uday says, hello, Adrian. How do we find the balance between saying more with less sentences and reaching the minimum word count? Uday, that's a very good question. You do that, Uday, by reviewing your writing constantly and always working on making it more concise, thinking about which parts are repetitive, which parts could be said simpler with collocations, with different vocabulary to include more content. So that's how you do it, through reviewing and revision and feedback. Okay. All right. Setsu says, you look like you have a headband standing in front of the projector. Yeah, it's a short throw projector, but once I'm back here, there's light for sure. Okay. All right. So monetary compensation. Okay, we've got some more coming up here. All right. Rashika says, having monthly payments, mothers can earn it effectively to stay happy and healthy, not only for themselves, but also for the entire society. Okay, Rashika, you have the right idea. I think you need to express it a little bit clearer. Janelle says, government compensation for motherhood can improve their whole family's quality of life. Yeah, something like that, Rajveer. So, giving financial support to mothers not only improves their overall quality of life, but also that of their families and society as a whole. Okay, Sure. So I would open with a sentence like this. So giving financial support to mothers not only improves their overall quality of life, but also that of their families and society as a whole. Okay. Let me make a quick correction here. It's possessive here. Families, lives. Okay. And now comes the explanation. What do you mean? So what do you mean by giving money to moms, their overall quality of life improves? Again, visual and quantitative information. So there, just typing along. You get really fluent with your thoughts and your phrasing once you practice this. Okay, so it's a combination of not just learning English, the vocabulary, the grammar, but also combining that language knowledge with a clear and fluent thought process to express these ideas. Okay, so again, here I'm visualizing what my mom spent money on that she received from the government. She spent it on buying organic foods. She spent it on buying educational videos, textbooks, taking us to the zoo, which again is a form of education. So I'm visualizing this. This is that down to up processing where I'm thinking about the example and then I'm coming up with the explanation and the more general ideas. Sometimes when students think about the general ideas first, they get really stuck. So one way to get around that is think of the specific example and then think about, oh, what's the explanation? Well, mothers spend that money on good quality, nutritious foods, for instance, okay? Or renting a home in a safe neighborhood, for example, okay? All right. Himuna writes, giving financial support to mothers should make everyone understand their effort that is not less important than any other job. This financial support can make them strong as a mother. Mimuna, Hannah, that would be for the previous paragraph, okay, of recognizing mothers for their effort. Make sure not to confuse your content from one paragraph to the next, okay? All right. Nick Hill writes, monthly payments to moms can be used for not only better education and luxury items, but also saving money in the bank for the future, which can be used for success in life. Okay, Nick Hill, I really like the start of it. I don't know about the saving money for the future part. I think that's a little bit, again, digressing too far into the concept. It's for maybe a longer essay, okay? United Careless says, financial support to mothers makes their lives better. Children get healthier food and mothers enjoy financial freedom. They become happier when they get such payment from the government. United Kerala, good ideas. Take out all the will, okay? Not just will, but it does. It does it now. It's generally true, so stay in the present tense. Your professors will remind you of that in your English literature class in your college and university as well. Okay. Amit says, with the help of a 20,000 rupee monthly salary, mothers can buy either healthy foods or they can use it for their children's education as well as for traveling and other expenses, thereby enhancing their overall life satisfaction, right? So it's that quality of life. Students, don't forget that in your body paragraphs, you have to reflect the thesis point, improve their lives. So successful life, better life quality, happier lives. Those are the terms, the synonyms that you should be thinking of for your second thesis point here. Okay. All right. Good, good. Okay, so now I am going to write my example. So my mom invested the 1,000 Canadian dollars she received from the government to buy organic produce for family meals, as well as to pay for educational textbooks and videos. This kept my siblings and I healthy and strong, and enabled us to become university graduates. Clearly, this led to a better quality of life for both my mom and my family. Okay. All right. So here is my second body paragraph from start to finish. And once again, I'm going to read it and review it for accuracy. Okay. So giving financial support to mothers not only improves their overall quality of life, but also that of their families and society as a whole. The salary paid to moms is used by them to buy healthy foods, good education, and luxury items, which leads to success and happiness. My mom invested the $1,000 she received from the government to buy organic produce for family meals, as well as to pay for educational textbooks and videos. This kept my siblings and I healthy, word form mistake, healthy and strong, and enabled us to become university graduates. Clearly, this led to a better quality of life for both my mom and my family. So this could be my connecting, concluding sentence. So clearly, this led to a better quality of life for both my mom and my family. It's good. It's not absolutely necessary, but it works. All right. Okay, so once again, word count is quite good here. I'm using, again, that quantitative language, visual language, organic produce, educational textbooks, videos, enabled us to become university graduates. So creating that sense of sympathy with the reader. Okay, all right. Carolina writes, nowadays many mothers take care of the family and do not go out to work. Oh, that's the question, Carolina. You're reminding Cassidy. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Kyber, there's absolutely a need for a moderator. Some people just really go off topic, so I'm very happy that we have a moderator here to help us out and help us stay focused. That's great. Deepika, when we give a list of individuals and include ourselves, whether it's in writing or in spoken communication, the polite way to do it is to list the people first and then include ourselves at the end. And it's usually I or me, depending on the grammar of the remaining sentence structure. Okay. All right. So now we have the conclusion left. Okay. The conclusion has 3 parts. You basically restate your thesis points. Then you strengthen your argument. And then you provide a take-home message. Okay, so something that's useful for your audience or your reader. Okay, so conclusion, restate your thesis points. Okay, don't write the exact same words. Strengthen your argument. So here the argument is I'm in support of paying moms for their jobs. And then a take-home message. So what can we learn from all of this? What can my reader take away? The take-home message should not be a new idea that is not supported. Okay, so it should be an idea that is supported. Let me show you again here. So restating the thesis points. Okay, the thesis points are, whoa, a little bit too far, are acknowledging their efforts and improving their lives. Those are the thesis points. So now I'm going to paraphrase that. Okay. So okay. So regular payment for work done at home by moms shows appreciation for their efforts and empowers them for better life. All right. I am in complete agreement that governments must budget for this in their expenses. Okay. Yeah, let's keep it simpler. So I am in complete agreement that governments must budget for this. Okay, so they have to include this in their spending, in their budget. All right, and then my take-home message. Okay, so what do we learn from this, right? What do we learn from what I've included in my essay here? Okay, so at the end of the day, paying moms is not only well-deserved, but also a benefit to all of society, which is clearly evident in my essay by explaining how moms and the money that moms make benefits basically all of society. Okay. All right. Rajveer writes, in conclusion, paying motherhood from taxpayers' money is a necessary reward to improve the living standards. Therefore, I strongly agree that mothers should be given a minimum salary for taking care of the family. This is just a small token of love that governments can show for the tireless activities that mothers do. And instead of governments, Rajveer, that's society. Okay, government is a part of society. So I would say this is just a small token of love that society can show for the tireless activities that mothers do. I really like your take-home message, Rajveer, because yeah, it's nice to say to people, I love you, but at the end of the day, I can't exactly eat the words I love you, and I can't exactly buy a new pair of shoes which are comfortable so that my feet don't hurt after running around all day doing chores and taking care of my children, right? So saying I love you is beautiful, but at the end of the day, showing someone I love you is also important. And I think your take-home message speaks to that, Rajveer, and that's very, very good. Okay. All right. So there we have our essay. Again, I'm going to review my paragraph. Regular payment for work done at home by moms shows appreciation for their efforts and empowers them for better life. I'm in complete agreement that governments must And for the IELTS, everyone, it is a good idea to start with in conclusion. Okay. In university, your professors will ask you not to write in conclusion because it gets really annoying to see it all the time. And your last paragraph is obviously your conclusion. But in the IELTS, it works. It looks good. In conclusion, regular payment for work done at home by moms shows appreciation for their efforts and empowers them for better life. I am in complete agreement that governments must budget for this. At the end of the day, paying moms is not only well-deserved, but also a benefit to all of society. Absolutely. Okay, students, so that is the essay. That would certainly get you a band 8 to band 9, no question about it. And to get lots more videos like this, for original practice exams, tons of information to join one of the most used resources for IELTS success in the world. Join us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Our general IELTS website looks like this with the green background. You can click that big red button to join us there. And for the academic IELTS, it's the blue background. Click that big red button. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. Okay, thank you to our members for your support. Thank you, Gliding Waves, for just joining us at the end there. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating. Eugen, those emojis are fantastic. Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone. I will be back tomorrow with a Q&A session for our members, and we'll have speaking part, I believe 2 or 3 for our all chat class. Have a lovely rest of your day. Sweet dreams if it's getting late in your country. And I will be back tomorrow. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world. I'm Adrian, signing out from beautiful Victoria. Bye for now.